speakers are from our partner body, Chartered Accountants Ireland. Chartered Accountants Ireland is the largest professional accountancy body in this island, and it was founded in 1988, and the institute now represents some 24,000 students and members. Their first speaker is Manus Brady, who is a Fellow of both Accounting Technicians Ireland and Chartered Accountants Ireland. Manus also runs his own practice, Manus Brady and Company Chartered Accountants and Registered Auditors. Manus will be followed by Brian Rankin, who is Marketing Manager with Chartered Accountants Ireland. But first, would you please welcome Manus?
Thanks very much, Gay. Gay says I have a tendency to go on a wee bit, so we'll just make sure it doesn't go over the 5 minutes. I'm of the Roy Keane school of thinking that if you fail to prepare, the chances are you better prepare to fail. I just thought as well I would get a chance to talk to Jane, and very conveniently for her, she decided not to be here. She rang me up and said, look, we just want you to talk a couple of minutes about how accounting technician led to where you are. And I said, well, look, to tell you the truth, Jane, my experience is sort of 20 years old. Would you not go for something a wee bit more youthful? Be more, I mean, I'm still used to calling our institute the Institute of Accounting Technicians and calling our other institute the Institute of Chartered Accountants. And I said, like, I'm still referring to Prof 2 instead of Cap 1 and all this. And she says, yeah, the problem is, man, is youth and experience don't normally go hand in hand, and we really just want you to talk about your experience. So at the moment, I have a small practice on the edge of Dublin 12, and in terms of the size of business that we are, we're not that significant in terms of Dublin or anything else, but in terms of the number of people, we've got 5 or 6 people. A number of them are married. If you ask if our business is significant in their lives, they'll say absolutely, it's very significant. If you ask any one of the 200 plus businesses whether we're a significant influence in their lives, you'd say yes, absolutely, they are. We would be regarded as being a very significant influence in their businesses. So how does someone from the back end of Donegal arrive in Dublin with a practice for the best part of 15 years? And growing up in Donegal, did my leave in 85, loved the experience so much, tried it again in 86. The fact the college had a very good football team had absolutely nothing to do with it. Ended up, at the time, I thought my aspiration was to be a national school teacher. Unfortunately, our good government at the time decided that no, we've far too many schools, so what we'll do is we'll narrow down the schools, so demand and supply and everything else. So off I went into the workplace. And it was interesting to hear Christine's experience, because I just don't have enough hassle in my life. So I'm on the audit committee for the Institute of Accounting Technicians with Christine. And Christine was worried about being a mature student at 38. So I'm hitting 20, 2 years in the workplace, and I decide, you know, maybe it's time to go back and do something. I'm not really sure what to do. Everybody should have a mentor, and I had mine, who's my grandmother. And I said, look, you know, I'm working, I'm making good money, I'm living at home. You know, life is good, but I'm thinking of going back to college. And she says, well, how long does it take? And she says, I said, it'll take 2 years. And she says, Manus, you know, I don't know much about college, but I can tell you 2 things. The next 2 years are going to go by anyway. So decide now what you want to do and get on with it. And the second thing she says, there are some things in life that aren't a burden to carry. Manners and education are 2 of them. So it's time you start making your own decisions. So off I went to the accounting technician, and by the grace of God, I met a lady called Maria Murphy, who I think she's still in the Institute. And every year when my membership subscription comes in from the Institute, I utter the words, thank God for Maria Murphy, because I wouldn't really be where I am today without her. So I sat down and I said, Maria, if I do this, what are my options when I'm finished? So Maria says, well, it'll give you exemptions in certain courses. So the attraction of chartered sort of shone out for me. So I did accounting technician, knowing that I had the option at a later stage, if I wanted to go down the road of further education, I could try the chartered route. Of course, at the time, it's a much different environment to now. I mean, every day we get emails in with CVs at the time. 20 years ago, we had the same sort of work environment. We had high unemployment. I sent out 63 CVs by bicycle. Delivered them all one Saturday, left the house at 9 o'clock. It was dark by the time I got home. And that's how I got into chartered. The attractions for me in doing chartered were I wasn't really, some people can cram might be a poor analysis for it, but I was really much more suited to the academic year. So you start your study in September and I worked more at a steady pace. That suited me, got a break during the summer, back we went. In terms of, it tied in very well with the work experience, so I went on to do chartered purely because it suited my temperament, it suited my characteristics. Then the other attraction for chartered is that there are loads of, Manus, your time is up. There are loads of options with further education. I don't think accountants are people who qualify by passing exams. I think they're people with accounting qualifications, and there's a very subtle difference. I think an accountant is a guy who's watching a match and he's wondering why a guy is kicking for goals from there because the angle is all wrong. I think it's the woman who's doing the school run and she's left 5 minutes later than yesterday, and all the way along the journey she's still going, I'm not late because I'm such and such a point. She's working it out mathematically in her mind. If you're of that sort of disposition, you're an accountant regardless if you have a professional qualification or not. You're just in a different occupation. If you want to get ahead, though, unfortunately, you do need an accounting qualification, and if you're of that disposition, I would urge you to get it. Unfortunately, you have to remember I'm biased. I think if you want to be the best, I think you need to join Chartered. Thank you very much.